What's up guys, Ernest Langdon from Langdon Tactical, and today we're going to talk about how you mount your red dot optic on your Elite RDO Ready Slide. So you've got your Elite LTT or a slide back from us that we modified for you, and it's going to come ready to go. We're going to go ahead and mount that RMR plate for you. We're going to Loctite the screws and we're going to put witness marks on it, get you all set. So all you have to do is bolt on your red dot optic. With that, you're also going to get two sets of screws, both long and short screws, and you need to use the appropriate ones. The short screws are for Holosun products. The long screws are for your Trijicon RMRs. So you need to make sure you're using the right screws for the optic that you're putting on the gun. Now, with that, there's going to be some things that you're going to need on top of that to do this installation correctly. You're going to need some rubbing alcohol, Q-tips, pipe cleaners to make sure that you properly clean all the surfaces so that they will accept Loctite. So you'll go ahead, clean out the screw holes, make sure you properly clean the threads on your screws so they're nice and clean, they don't have any residual oil left on them, and that your Loctite or your Vibra-tite will actually render itself properly and keep those screws in place. Once you've cleaned everything up and you allow it to dry, allow the alcohol to dry, then you can go ahead and apply either Loctite, specifically Loctite 242, the blue stuff, or Vibra-tite VC3. Those are the two products that we recommend for mounting the screws or mounting the RMR to the plate. If you're using the Loctite, the blue Loctite, you need to be careful about applying too much to it. You don't need a ton, just a couple of drops down in the thread holes themselves, and then about 50% of the threads themselves need to be covered, focusing on making sure you get Loctite down on the end of the threads, okay? Not up by by the screw itself, but the threads down at the bottom. That's going to get your best mating and your best locking ability with that Loctite. Once you have that, you can go ahead and mount your RMR on the gun. What I recommend that you do here, if you've got a brand new RMR, it's not a big deal, but if you've got one you've used before and that O-ring has come loose, it's no longer stuck in place, turn that upside down, let gravity be your friend, and make sure that O-ring is in there properly. If it gets out of place, it's not going to mount flush, nor is it going to be waterproof. So make sure you do that, and then simply put your screws in place with the Loctite and or Vibra-tite on there, screw them all the way down and torque them in place. You need a 1/16 inch bit and some sort of torque limiting screwdriver. The people ask, hey, why don't you put an Allen key in there? Because you'll just take it and crank it on there. If a little tight is good, really tight's even better, and I can't afford to send everybody a torque limiting screwdriver with bits for it, okay? To do this properly, you need something like this fix-it stick that limits the torque to 10 inch-pounds when you're putting it on the gun. Not just a regular Allen key or Allen screw on there. There's a reason we don't send one with it, so you got to make sure you get the proper tools to install it onto the slide of the gun. All right, once you get it torqued into place, then I highly recommend you use some oil-based paint pen or something to mark that screw, the head of the screw, so that you know that it's where it needs to be. That way, when you're on the range and shooting or you're doing maintenance on your gun, you can quickly look down and see that your screws are where they need to be and they haven't started backing out. That's a very common best practices when it comes to mounting red dots onto slides. So make sure you get the proper materials, i.e. you can clean it up properly. You've got a torque limiting screwdriver with the proper new bit on it, and either VC3 or 242 Loctite. Guys, make sure you install this properly. You spend a lot of money on both your slide and on your red dot optic. Don't get cheap and in a hurry and try to rush getting it on the gun so you can get to the range. Do it the right way. Guys, go out there, train hard, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys, to keep up to date, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. For questions, go to langdontactical.com
And to keep up to date with all the new stuff from Langdon Tactical, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Langdon Tactical.